Tea Party leaders testifying today before Congress about IRS targeting. Lawyers appeared on behalf of groups suing the IRS. They're charging the agency harassed dozens of Tea Party and conservative groups and held up their tax-exempt status. They laughed off White House claims no top IRS officials specifically targeted conservative groups.
This wasn't an equal opportunity discrimination. This was targeted discrimination coming from the Internal Revenue Service. And what I'd like to address now is that our view is that that determination came from the highest ranks of the Internal Revenue Service.
During today's testimony, lawyers also contradicted claims the FBI is actively investigating the situation. 13 government agents are supposedly looking into it, but those agents haven't contacted any Tea Party officials in the groups allegedly targeted.
Joining us now with more is Jordan Sekulow of the American Center for Law and Justice. The ACLJ represents 41 Tea Party groups in a federal suit against the IRS. Jordan, Cleta Mitchell said in that piece we just saw that she believes this is all about silencing people who have spoken out against Obamacare. Do you agree?
Absolutely. You know, the clients, we represent 41 different groups in this case against the IRS, the civil lawsuit. And it was Eric Holder who said there may be criminal violation here. What was clear in the hearing today at the Government Oversight and Reform Committee is that there's no question that these groups were targeted inappropriately.
Well, Jordan, it is pretty brazen that the IRS would put rules into place permanently that discriminate against a particular viewpoint. Why do you think that they're so open about what they're doing?
They think that they almost got away with it this time, that Lois Lerner was rewriting the rules as the targeting was occurring. We just found that out. You know, this was something that came up in the hearing, but I think people are just starting to figure out. The rules were not changed after the targeting. They weren't changed because of the targeting and then, oh, there was trouble, people couldn't interpret the law, which, by the way, the rules have been in place on this law for C-Force since 1959. So suddenly all this, 50 years later, they now can't interpret the rule that's been in place so long.
Well, what is your reaction when you hear President Obama say that there's not even a smidgen of corruption at the IRS?
You know, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, the IRS is still being investigated. There are 6 active investigations. There's a civil lawsuit we filed. Another attorney today represents a group that's filed. There's some other groups that have filed their own independent lawsuits. That's just the civil side. Then there's DOJ, FBI, a number of different congressional investigations, and yet it's getting to a point, and I think to close on this, that where members of Congress are starting to come together, even these very powerful committees, like the committee the hearing was in today, the Government Oversight and Reform Committee, which has investigation power over any kind of government action, basically, that they are now coming to the conclusion, as Congressman Trey Gowdy said today, that there needs to be a special prosecutor appointed, or else this investigation won't move forward. So I think that's the point we're at, is that if the Obama administration wants to get away from the criticism of Barbara Bosserman and DOJ attorneys who donated, appoint an independent, a special prosecutor. They have the power to do so, and let's get to the bottom of it, because Congress, I think, is about done in their ability to get new information.
Jordan Sekulow of the ACLJ, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Mark.